Hello. Should abortion be legal in the case of rape? That is a tough question, one that I am going to answer, but first I will state very clearly ahead of time that the answer is no. I will explain more on why my answer is what it is in 4 points. Number 1, it's tragic. Number 2, it's rare. Number 3, it's a life. And number 4, it's wrong. So number 1, it's tragic. Rape is sexual assault, and sexual assault is a terrible, evil, and a heinous crime. It is always wrong for a man to abuse a woman or to force himself upon her. It is despicable and it is deplorable. There are few things more traumatic or more painful than this crime. Not only is it tragic, but it is also rare. 99.5% of abortions are performed on pregnancies resulting from consensual sex. When we talk about abortion, we are virtually always talking about a pregnancy that came about because a man and a woman chose to have sex. It is rare, but based off of our previous point, it is tragic. It is despicable and it is deplorable. But it is also a life that you are taking. This is the most important point, and why, despite the very real physical and emotional pain that I don't want to minimize, I cannot support abortion on demand. Not for any reason, not even this one. So number 3, it's a life. Scientifically speaking, life begins at conception. Based off of what I just said previously, scientifically speaking, that means it is not a religious belief, but it is a scientific fact. We were created out of microscopic zygotes loaded with all the genetic information it will ever need. That is where we came from. Our life started at that moment of conception. Every life is a gift from God. Therefore, every life is precious. And a child's life is not less deserving of protection just because it was conceived from the sins of another. The defenseless child cannot be the price paid for someone else's heinous act. People used to repair rather than just to simply replace an item. In the case of jeans, we would repair them whenever they had a hole or a rip in them. We would patch them up instead of just buying a new pair of jeans to replace the old pair. We would repair them instead of replacing. Now people just replace. Abortionists see the child as a thing to be solved, and they solve this problem by throwing it away, by just simply replacing it. Now this leads to our 4th and our final point, stating that abortion in the case of rape is wrong. John Piper said that the destruction of conceived human life, whether embryonic, fetal, or viable, is an assault on the unique person-forming work of God. In James 4:2, when James says, "You desire and do not have, so you murder," is the truth. When the girlfriend, the wife, the husband, or the boyfriend agree to have an abortion, they are agreeing to murder one of the image bearers of God. When they agree to this, they are most likely seeing the child as a hindrance to their future dreams and ambitions. But they will still sleep together, all the while knowing that their actions will still have consequences. Psalms 139:13 says, "For you formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb." The life of the unborn is the knitting of God, and what he is knitting is a human being in his own image, unlike any other creature in the universe. I think John Piper again says it best. We kill marriages and we kill unborn babies because they cut across our desires. They stand in the way of our unencumbered self-enhancement. And we live in a culture where self-enhancement and self-advancement is God. And if self-enhancement is God, then the one who is at work in the womb shaping a person in his own image is not God, and the assault on his work is not sacrilegious, but obedience to the God of self. There are ultimately four realities to face when considering an abortion or already having completed an abortion. Number one, the child in the womb is created by God in the image of God. Number two, only God can forgive the sin of killing unborn children. Number three, the root cause of abortion is the failure to be satisfied in God as our supreme love. And number four, the political and cultural events that will make abortion unthinkable and illegal are in God's hands. Piper argues that the link between the modern secular world, which was rooted in the Garden of Eden, and the reality of abortion is found in the word want. When it is said, "I do not want this child at this time," that comes from the root of when the girlfriend, the wife, the husband, or the boyfriend sees the child as a hindrance to their future dreams and ambitions. But ultimately, we know that this is not true. Like I stated earlier, God is the only one who can forgive the sin, and yes, it is a sin, of the killing of unborn children. I hope that as I have presented this to you, you will have had your eyes opened to how gracious God is. God should be my and your supreme love. Only God can satisfy. Ultimately, no man or woman or child can satisfy you or me. Only God can. As we look around us in this world, we see sin and corruptness everywhere. If you put your faith in the only one who can heal this broken world, you will find your satisfaction. I leave you with this thought and hope that you will dwell on it. God cares for the child whose life is endangered because his parents chose to make him dead. I would hope that you consider this. Thank you very much.